Hello, everyone, and welcome to Enableo's webinar on the topic of achieving better employee comms faster, which is, I know, a subject we're all really passionate about. Thank you guys for joining us today. It's truly a pleasure to be hosting you. Just before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. We will mute all attendees for the duration of the webinar, just to ensure that we're removing background noise and we're coming into you really clearly. That being said, we absolutely welcome your questions, comments, thoughts, and would really love to hear from you. So please pop those in the chat box and we'll come back to them at the end of the webinar at our dedicated Q&A session. By way of introduction, my name is Sinead Hunt. I'm Client Director with Enablo here in the US, and I have a real passion for amazing technology and really powering the way we work. Throughout the duration of my career, I've had the privilege to witness many incredible transformations. And when customers and partners work hand in hand together to really get it right, the magic truly happens and the organization reaps the benefits. And when we at Enablo really partner with our customers, we become part of the team, providing ongoing guidance and support and success and advisory services. We really take your key objectives to heart and ensure that we're setting you up for success, configuring the platform to deliver on those. We provide support and community participation, and we also customize those employee experiences on top of Workplace. So partnering with our customers from the concept through to launch and implementation and really witnessing that transformation makes us all tick and just serves the passion and fire that we bring to the table. We're all about engagement, building community and culture, and creating best of breed employee experiences on top of the workplace. It's truly ingrained in each and every one of us enablers. Our mission at Enablo is to empower you to do your best work together. And this is realized through our partnerships with Google Workspace, Asana, and Workplace by Facebook, by Meta, formerly Facebook. They make this your reality. At Enablo, we are privileged to take care of over 500,000 workplace users spread across our 200-strong customer base, all who have an average adoption rate of 85% or higher, which is really fabulous. Today, we're so excited to bring you an incredible example of a customer getting it right, like I mentioned. Real Broker, a tech-powered online brokerage for agents and teams throughout the US and Canada, deployed Workplace to the organization, I think 2,000 users, just under 40 days. So we'll hear from them today on their why, what prompted them to move from a plethora of comms tools onto a single Workplace instance, and how they're really benefiting from two-way engagement, increased culture, and a fabulous employee experience for everybody within the organization, regardless of where they're located. And as we know, that's a challenge many organizations face day to day. I think the pandemic has expedited it, but we're at the place where it's no longer work from home, it's work from anywhere, with work being something we do, not necessarily somewhere we go. So we're joined today by Nick Sandercock, very well regarded as a customer experience thought leader here at Enablo. He's actually the perfect teammate to join us today. He led Real Broker through their implementation from beginning through to fruition and was with them each step of the way. So over to you, Nick.
Thanks, Sinead, and hello, everybody. As Sinead mentioned, my name is Nick Sandercock, and I'm an experience manager here at Enablo. That means I get to help customers, just like Real Broker and just like yourself, launch Workplace to your organization, achieving all of your goals and staying with you through the long term for your ongoing success. I've actually been on Workplace for over 4 years now, and I really couldn't imagine work without it. Before I joined Enablo, I had the privilege of running a Workplace instance for a different company, and it's really shown me the power that this platform can bring. As Sinead mentioned, we are an exclusive partner of Workplace from Meta, and for us, Workplace is really a no-brainer. Because it's optimized for hybrid work and it's so easy to adopt, Workplace now has over 7 million users across a global network of organizations. Today's workforce, they need technology that works for everyone, not just those behind a desk. And that's why we're so passionate about Workplace here at Enablo. And the reason why Workplace works is because it connects everyone in your company through three main types of content. Static content ensures that everyone has access to the right information. These are the key resources that you can host or link to in the knowledge library that's accessible on mobile. Dynamic content in your groups ensures that everyone has a voice. This ensures, this is your newsfeed, it's your group posts, your profile, chat. Most of your users are very familiar with that, giving a relatable experience. And finally, video content makes everyone feel like they belong wherever they are. Through independent studies, we've actually found that companies using Workplace, on average, they benefit from a 25% reduction in leadership communication costs, a 34% reduction in the time taken for frontline workers to get their updates, and a 10% increase in employee retention. This really, to us, is delivering better employee comms faster. But Workplace, it's more than just a technology platform that securely powers the communication and collaboration you're after today. And it's not just about transforming the way people work. It's about driving culture and transforming how people feel about their work, their team, and their company. Because it's a tool that interfaces very familiar, used by over 3 billion people around the world. It's very easy to use and it's mobile first. And all of this enables you and your organization to give everyone access to the right information, ensure every voice is heard, and provide every employee with that sense of belonging. Workplace works because it was built with the idea of connecting people at its heart, even people like pets. You hear that, dog. From the CEO to the most junior intern, from your tech teams to that distributed global sales force or the store manager to a part-time shop assistant, whoever you are, wherever you are and whatever you do, Workplace is the platform that will bring your people together. It's at the forefront when it comes to embedding features that connect every employee everywhere. This is done through familiar features like groups, where you engage and share updates with team members or connect around a shared interest or topic. Live video, where you connect leaders to employees in a way that's authentic, wherever they are, either live or on replay. Mark is important, an admin controlled feature that ensures no one will miss your key posts. The knowledge library, where static information is available on any kind of device. And chat, where individual or group messaging really comes to life with text, voice, video, GIFs, you name it. Real Broker used each of these features to build their great culture at scale and deliver better comms faster. Their state-based brokerage groups made the information easy to find, and the knowledge library ensured all of their key files were never misplaced. Chat has also been integral for how new brokers and agents connect instantly. And live video, it's actually used almost daily for training purpose. Their use cases are extraordinary, but enough from me. Erin, Tracy, thanks for joining us today. We're so excited to have you here.
Thanks so much for having us here. We're really happy to share our success stories with you.
So let's start, ladies. Why don't you just tell us about Real Broker?
Absolutely. So Real Brokerage was founded in 2014 as a technology brokerage. We have since had phenomenal success with building the company. We're now in 40 US states plus DC and building across Canada as well. We're comprised of close to 4,000 agents and brokers, and we've got staff working everywhere. All of us are, as a virtual company, working remotely.
Incredible. And can you tell us a little about your experience in the industry?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I've been a licensed real estate broker since 1999. So I've seen a huge evolution with technology and new inventions throughout the real estate industry. So it's kind of been a real estate broker in the trenches for a long time and worn many hats in my years of experience.
And I've been licensed. Yeah, and I've been licensed in Kansas and North Carolina since 2000. Up until coming over to Real Broker, I've always had a physical brick and mortar office. So the virtual world has been fun to join, and I'll share more about that later.
You're living through it, yeah. The transition from the virtual world, the bricks and mortar to the virtual world.
That's right.
So, Aaron, tell us what prompted you and the leadership team at Real Broker to begin exploring a comm solution like Workplace.
Oh, sure. Yeah. One of the big problems was we had a smattering of different communications across the board. The dev team was working in one application. We had our own proprietary homegrown app where agents would communicate, agents and brokers would communicate with staff on a different communications platform. So it just felt very scattered. It was impossible to search for a certain thread of communication. Even just to find things, it was, it kind of a big waste of time most of the time, just trying to find information or pertinent information. We knew that we had to really streamline our communications internally, but also streamline our communications to our audience of agents, knowing that we were coming into this massive growth spurt.
Yeah, you mentioned the audience of agents and being able to share that kind of information there. With your previous experience in this virtual brokerage world and also with these kinds of tools, tell us how you thought about strategy and what was most important to you when bringing Workplace into Real.
Sure. I also, Nick, similar to you, used Workplace at a different company. I was one of the beta users right after Workplace launched. So we helped implement Workplace with that previous company, not knowing what we were getting into other than the general familiarity of a Facebook product or Meta product. We did not take a streamlined approach at that time because we also, were in this hyper growth period, but we did not know how to streamline or build or orchestrate these groups for particular audiences. It quickly grew to be a very noisy community where it just wasn't sticky. We would have a lot of people opt out, turn off notification settings, or just not engage at all because it was just simply too noisy. So within partnering with Enableo, we understood that we needed to have a partner to help us design Workplace to be sticky, to be highly collaborative, to be something where our agents and our brokers and our staff want to be on a daily basis, to help increase our communications and ultimately help navigate our culture.
Right.
That's interesting. So you had experience with Workplace, guided and unguided, so with a partner and without a partner. Tell us why working with a partner was so important to you.
Well, we had a very short timeline for launch. So it was kind of a rapid fire approach. And we were very fortunate to be able to work with Nick on this project. So we broke everything down into specific groups. What do our agents need from the get-go? What is most important? How can agents have a fun environment where they can all chatter and share ideas? How can agents share referrals on a highly searchable basis? And then also we have our knowledge library within our Real Academy, which is our primary training platform for agents. So how can we create a highly searchable information depository of archived information for them? So that was really, truly what we were seeking in a partnership, is how to get this all designed, because we just really needed a lot of guidance and input.
Well, it was really great working with you and your team on that project and getting it stood up. And I like that you called out the time frame on it. When we look at Workplace and those types of implementations, it's something that we like to do with some excitement and momentum behind it. So a Workplace launch, it typically doesn't linger on for many months at all. It's something where we build excitement, we get users on board, and start seeing the magic of what really happens there when a full community can come together, sometimes for the first time. Aaron, thanks so much for sharing the philosophy, the strategy you guys had for groups, and really what you were trying to put in place there. I think those fundamental structures, they're really important. So if you're trying to drive communication goals, if it's around all company announcements, or if you're trying to facilitate collaboration, like what you're doing with your Referral Central group, giving agents a spot to really generate new business with each other. Everything's a little bit bigger than communication on Workplace, even though that really sits at the heart of it. Tracy, haven't forgotten about you. We've heard how this was applied during the launch process for the whole organization, but can you share with us how you took those same kinds of ideas and applied them day to day in your Kansas operations?
Sure, absolutely. So Kansas just recently opened this year, so we are a new state. And I was fortunate to have this come on fairly quickly after we onboarded. So I was looking for a place where we could feel like we were a part of an office, if you will. Every single agent in Kansas was coming from a brick and mortar, where they entered a building, did their work there, and went home. And so we all were moving into this space. Some of us are as much as 8 hours apart and have never met in person. And so I wanted this state group to feel like walking into an office. And so I've taken that approach with my posts and my communications through there, as far as having everything they need right there, one-stop shop, just like they were walking into their office.
Yeah, it sounds like you really created some key things that they needed to make workplace valuable.
Yeah, just listening to the effects of that. Obviously, Erin, taking it back to you, that strategy, you brought to life, and that Tracy and her peers and counterparts across the US are benefiting from. How did you, from a strategic mind, how did you plan to roll this out to agents? And what were the key messages you felt you needed to keep in mind when implementing a new tool to a dispersed organization?
Our initial rollout kind of went through a discovery period with the Enablo team of how are we going to have a really successful rollout for this. We were right in the process of switching our technology platforms. So it gave us a good opportunity for us to be able to do that. We came with an approach, and we've been talking about it and sharing tidbits about this, knowing that within our homegrown app, our community was not going to be able to scale. It was quickly becoming far too noisy, and messages were getting dropped and questions were not getting answered in there. So we simply gave a drop dead date, turned off the homegrown app, had a pinned post in there where agents could no longer post, and had a bulk migration over to Workplace. Once we had a lot of key beta users in Workplace, in their cultivating content, like Tracy, for example, as the Kansas state broker in her state group, she was able to import her regional agents in there as well and start getting them engaged and collaborating and getting a lot of great feedback from them. So it was an organic approach, but it did have a lot of thought and design behind it. So agents were not just coming in to avoid workplace atmosphere. There were some pre-populated posts and some fun content in there, and some really dynamic groups that they were automatically joining upon their migration to Workplace.
And you found that top-down messaging, made them excited to actually get their hands on this new tool from day one?
Oh, 100%. I mean, once they discovered the horsepower behind it and how simple it is, again, and how friendly it is, because it's a Meta Facebook product, we had really good buy-in with people, also installing the mobile app. But some simple training around, notification settings, first off, because if all of your notifications are on constantly, it's like any other app, it's going to be a bit noisy from the get-go. But once agents started learning where to find information and identify things with our very streamlined approach, it quickly became a very popular platform for all of our agents.
Incredible.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that definitely has to do with the group of champions that you brought in early, who were able to cultivate that content and set some of those norms. And people like Tracy, she was integral to that process, not just as an early adopter, but also as really a frontline leader for Kansas, and being the broker who those agents report to and get turned to for information. Erin, can you tell us how agents just are developed at Real, and how integral your brokers were to this process? Thinking about them like just like your frontline leaders for others who may not be in the real estate industry.
Sure. Yeah, that's a really great question. So I'll kind of keep it general, because not everybody understands the entire back end of how real estate offices work. But basically, when an agent joins the company as a newer agent, or whether they're experienced or have been in the industry for years, they're experiencing some different technologies. So Workplace could be a new technology for them. So typically, once they join the company, they are instructed to download the Workplace apps, and then they're auto-populated into groups there. They go through a quick orientation on Workplace and how to best use it. They're also auto-populated into their state group that they're part of. Within that area, our state brokers, dynamic state brokers, especially like Tracy, are showcasing how to best use Workplace. We've got a Referral Central group, which is a highly popular group where agents from across our brand are populating and posting referrals in there for other agents from other states. So it's a great opportunity for an agent to quickly grab a referral and potentially have another transaction out of that. So we're keeping everything sort of in-house there with our referral group. We also have a lot of knowledge within our Real Academy, where agents, and again, regardless of where they are in their life cycle of their career, can access really top shelf information in the knowledge library within Real Academy. They can watch live trainings, they can go in there and teach a class. Our brokers are very engaging as well, as far as being on hand to answer questions that may come up, and really be there to support our agents and be a helping hand in a very collaborative and fun way.
Oh, that's really awesome. Thank you, Erin, for sharing that. Tracy, we've heard about the value proposition with Real Academy and creating that kind of content there. How has your approach to using Workplace, how have you implemented that locally? So as a state broker, a leader with a team to manage, can you give our audience an indication of just how you've set norms, how you use your group, your knowledge library and chat to keep everyone engaged?
Sure, absolutely. So I was excited to find one avenue to communicate with my agents. One place, again, I'll just reiterate, the searchability, all of the functionalities of that have really saved me. I started out, the day that we launched Workplace, I happened to be at a college visit with my daughter out of state, but guess what? I went live in Workplace to welcome all of my agents from there. It was a fun, interactive conversation. They got to see that it was easy to use. And during that welcome video, I did share with them my expectations of communication, where I expect them to check in the office, which is my Workplace state group. I want them to check in every single day in case there's an important announcement with regards to how we're doing paperwork, or things that I need them to take care of on their files, or an update in regulations or MLS guidance. So once a day, they must check in on Workplace. The great function is I can actually see who's looked at my posts, and I can say, hey, I noticed you didn't see my most recent update. You might want to just go back in and remember to check every day. So I do love that functionality as well. I also told them that emailing, texting, Facebook messengering me, Instagram messaging me isn't going to work. You're not going to get an answer. I turn off most of my notifications on my phone throughout the day, but I always leave the Workplace chat notification on, and it is a special sound so that I know no matter what I'm doing, one of my agents needs something, and I do prioritize that notice. So I feel like setting those expectations and up front has been really helpful in keeping us all on the same page. Again, I think having the post thread and searchability has been really helpful for agents that aren't always able to make it to my live videos or my live trainings that I offer. They can always go back in and refer back to advertising or compliance and search that out. So it's been very beneficial for me.
It sounds like launch day for you, Tracy, was a memorable one off-site. How are you feeling and seeing on the ground with regard to how are the other agents and brokers using Workplace? Are they engage? Are they following direction and engaging kind of organically due to the setup?
Absolutely. Yeah, they are definitely involved in our knowledge library. I've got a great library set up with all of my past trainings. All of our state meetings are uploaded there. Every single form they would ever need to do a transaction is there. Everything's at their fingertips in the knowledge library. So I know we talk a little bit about making sure if we have a backup in case there's ever an issue with any of our other systems. I want them to know that Workplace is always a place where they can find absolutely everything they need. So if any of our other systems are down for the day, pop on over to Workplace Knowledge Library and continue your business, no downtime.
Yeah, I really like that with regard to how your direction was crystal clear from day one. This is our new repository. We have many other tools, but this is it. It's nice to have that guidance and direction and clarity, because it's really important as humans and human nature. Sometimes we can veer off to what we're used to, but with clear structure and focus coming from the top with yourself and Aaron, keeps them on track and keeps them signposted to the tools they need to fulfill their role. Good job.
Well, and I think even just not just the tools, but I think their ability to jump in and feel like they're a part of something bigger than them. Again, I mentioned we're coming from walking into an office and talking to people, being able to have them see that there's a room called break room, where you can go and meet new people, like-minded people who want to learn from each other. We all have different perspectives being from different markets, and it's just fun to go into those rooms and get to know people, socialize, learn a little bit about other markets. And it's just been amazing for collaboration. My mind is blown with how much we've been able to share just organically by popping in a room and having a conversation, or popping in the fur baby room with my dog. And then suddenly we have 20 new conversations, and it always leads back to real estate. So it's been fun.
Yeah, we see a lot of engagement on our other channels or clients when we have the social element too, because it just brings it to life and creates that connection, which is really important.
Right.
If you were to pinpoint a workplace win for the team in Kansas, is there anything that springs to mind?
Well, I've recently had we don't want to get too technical because not everybody here is real estate related, but we do have professional licenses that are on the line, and we do have to prove that we are supervising, educating, offering guidance to our agents. And so if I did have a regulatory board reach out to me regarding an instance, and thank goodness for Workplace and the coordination of it all, I was able to show proof that I had done a proper education and guidance through that. So it did help me with documentation regarding the education and training that I'm offering. So
Wonderful.
That's just incredible. And I think it's so applicable. I mean, even if it is about brokerage and a licensing agency, so many frontline managers or just different leaders within an organization, we're constantly looking for ways to show that I got you this information, we engaged on this time, and really give people some more autonomy and responsibility to take the information that's being made available to them. You've just embodied that. And I think leading from the beginning with, here's how I'm going to communicate, and here's where you can find these key resources, has just given you a lot to stand on here, where this is a reliable tool and platform for your operations, way more than just, standard communication. Aaron, was there a workplace win that you wanted to share? This might even go into some results. I know we've got a good slide for that.
I'll let you talk about the results. I guess for me, it's the adoption rate. That felt really great to me, because it was a re-education process for our agents and our brokers and our staff. And it was a little bit of anxiety shared around that during our rollout, but watching our adoption rate was fantastic, and just the total buy-in from people, and seeing some wonderful friendly posts in there, and just the engaging atmosphere of transparency and collaboration, for me, would just be the ultimate workplace win.
It's awesome. And I have to do it. I have to segue into real results, just since we're talking about it, just to put it on display here. I mean, really, really great numbers. And I think when we market against this period of hypergrowth that your brokerage has been undergoing, you also have things that are changing given the ongoing, landscape of the labor market. To see a culture that has been scaled with such success, I think is a huge takeaway for everybody. I love these numbers here. Overall, new joiners from your launch, you've onboarded over 1,500 people since we launched Workplace, and so many of your brokers and agents are active weekly. Lots of groups and over 40,000 comments have been left, really showing that this is a two-way space where people can engage together. And then this note, 250 learning videos. We're going to have to do a whole separate session all about your Real Academy, because it's truly the best in class when we think about learning on Workplace.
I'm really proud of the Real Academy. That was a byproduct of just the success and an agent need that was communicated to us. So we created it.
And Tracy, of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't call out how 3/4 of your group, and really the brokerage as a whole, active on their cell phones, active on mobile, keeping them connected everywhere. And for you, over 3,300 messages sent. Really, that's a level of interaction that people may have not had with their leader before, and you being accessible like that, I think is just, it's awesome. Great work.
It is. Coming back to our conversation, Tracy, with that clarity of direction with regards to this is where you'll find me, this is where we can connect and collaborate. Those numbers speak for themselves. Kudos to you. Awesome leadership.
Thank you. It really does make all of our lives easier, I feel like, where we can go back and review those conversations that we've had and just know that you can get a pretty instant answer on anything that you need.
Yeah, and it's so intuitive to use too. I think that's what we're all finding. Erin, if what words of wisdom or advice do you have to share with your peers, regardless of industry sector, who are embarking or considering embarking on a workplace journey? What are your top takeaways with regards to, lessons learned having launched Workplace and things that you'd like to share?
Sure. Well, having the privilege of launching Workplace twice and doing it with a much more successful, streamlined approach, that's my top recommendation, is do it with a partner. Take a little bit of time to really design your workplace playroom as it is. You really want to make it engaging and sticky, and you want it to convey your company culture. Who are you? Make sure everything is branded so your community is understanding which groups are your company groups and which other groups might be a byproduct that some of your community are developing themselves. So for me, it was really taking that streamlined approach with Enableo as our preferred partner, and also having Nick's wisdom and guidance through all of this, because it was not an easy task. But it was not daunting. Nick really made it very, very simple for us to roll out on a very, very fast track.
That's awesome to hear. I think we have some Q&A to run to. Nick, there's a question in there that you have access to first as you're hosting. Could you?
Yeah. Yes, I didn't realize that was locked.
I see it in there, and we'll take it in turns.
I know we'll take some turns. I know that we've been doing a lot of Q&A already through this, keeping it conversational, but thanks to those who have put some questions in. Keep them coming. One came in asking, Tracy and Erin, have these amazing results that you've experienced with Workplace helped you retain brokers and agents?
That's a great question for you, Tracy.
And I would say absolutely. I was feeling quite overwhelmed and lost and potentially scared until this was implemented. And then I suddenly felt the calm of, okay, Here's where it can all be. You know, again, I'm working with people that are up to 8 hours away from me and not in person. And so I was looking for this. And so it did retain me. And I do know that it has retained several of my agents that are off on their own. We're pretty rural. So I've got some agents that are out on their own about 4 hours from anybody else, you know, within the brokerage. And this has made them feel like they're a part of something, a part of a community. And I absolutely know that that is why they are still with me. Yes.
That's incredible. Just, it makes every effort worthwhile. I see another one here. Your adoption rate and engagement rate are high in the 80s. For your perspective, why do you think this is so high? Open to both of you.
I think the adoption rate is so high because it's a familiar product. It's a Facebook product, obviously. So it's familiar for users to come in, quickly interpret how to navigate things quite simply. And then they've got, again, I keep referring to that stickiness, but it's engaging. It's a culture of engagement and collaboration and transparency. And that to me is really what has created our adoption rate success levels.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Another one in here, 8 months on from launch. Do you have some tangible examples of the impact on your culture that you can share?
Oh goodness, yes, absolutely. I don't even know where to start. My brain just starts flooding with examples. First of all, I guess I could break it down into groups. So we have our leadership teams, but it's been able to enhance our leadership communication directly from the top, from our CEO, through the agents, through the staff on a very highly transparent level. We can create pinned posts in one of the primary accounts, which is our break room account. So it's very simple to engage and find hot topics of the day. That would be one of my quick examples. Tracy, do you have anything that comes to mind?
I absolutely love how it has just fired this inspiration to collaborate on video in particular. I'm seeing right now just different marketing methods, different groups firing up and having all kinds of live masterminds. You know, we've got so many weekly live masterminds that just came from the fact that agents had met each other through Workplace, saw that somebody else was doing something and they wanted to learn how to do it. And suddenly we have these new masterminds with 40 people that are high level sharing their knowledge, and they wouldn't have otherwise had that. So absolutely, we see buy-in on that. New people join every week and they're fired up and excited to share what they know. And hopefully they get a nugget out of that hour of masterminding together too. So
that's such a great example. I love that you use that one for your mastermind groups. So just bringing people together, allowing people to innovate in a space and kind of share ideas, open up communication, but it definitely has tangible business results. You know, we've seen that. I think we have a couple other questions that have come in. Thank you to those who are throwing them in the feed here. Here's one that is really good. Why Workplace over other channels, other tools? So Erin, why did you pick Workplace over, say, Slack or
Sure.
We don't need to name the other tools out there in the market?
Well, if it's out there, we probably had it. We're running so many different channels of communications. Workplace, we did our research. So again, having the knowledge from our previous experience with Workplace, knowing the product very well, we did a deep dive in, finding other applications out there, what's new, what's working, what features are available for communication, collaboration, and also, really community building. We couldn't find anything that even came to par with Workplace. Either it just felt like it was truly a chat app with some video features, but no place to archive a knowledge library or access a referral group. So it just, nothing quite met what we were demanding to meet our needs. Workplace really surfaced above and became our one-stop shop for all things community building and collaboration.
Thanks for sharing that. And one more that's come in from this feed here. How long has it been since deploying Workplace? And what was a core learning or change that you've implemented after launch? Tracy, let's actually start with you on that one. So what's something that you've done differently since you were onboarded back in April?
Absolutely. So I just was using it for updates, as changes came in or reminders of a meeting that we're going to be having together. And then I quickly realized with the different MLSs that I have and the different forms that are needed across the board that I was able to do short videos and upload those into the feed there and then slide them over to my knowledge library so that they're always available. I didn't implement that right off, but I found that to be a huge time saver when I was getting a ton of the same questions from multiple agents. I thought, well, I'm just going to do a quick video and it's going to be right here searchable for everybody. And then if I'm out showing a house and somebody needs help, I can just give them the link to that video and they're taken care of immediately instead of having to wait for me to get home and answer the question.
Yeah, and that was really intentional. I know just from our launch process, when we rolled it out, creating a space where people could onboard quickly, there was a easy reason to join, and communicating through groups, chat, definitely the primary focus when we rolled this out. But I love that you've taken it that next step further and have really started embedding it into your processes. I think it also speaks to how easy the tool is, even for admins. I mean, you work with your director of education, I'm sure, on how to set up different things, but this is really something that you, as the team leader, control. It's not governed by an IT system or another department that needs to make updates. It's really giving you the ability there to own your content.
I can, and what makes it even better is I can do it all from my cell phone in my car. I can just make it happen right there.
Erin, what about you? Core learning change that you've implemented?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
I'm so sorry. I was just going to get your feedback if you had a core learning or change that's been implemented since launch.
Well, one thing is it helped us get away from other communication platforms. So especially email. We all know how emails are viewed these days. It's so hard to catch up in your inbox. So Workplace is a great platform for just quick, brief communications. All of the content is logged in there. You can create group chats, similar to Facebook chat, but it's searchable and it's so simple for agents to find other agents and connect on a very granular level and just convey on the fly communication, which is what we're all about right now. So being able to work at a very high level anywhere virtually on the go has been a huge win for us.
Thanks.
I think we have another question. Goodness. Yeah, a statement in question. Workplace is described as a comm solution, but it's much more than that question mark, which I think we've touched on. Yeah, it's Tracy, Erin.
Yeah, it's absolutely more than just communications. It's everything. It's a one-stop shop. Like I said, this is where my brokerage lives. My office lives here. My paperwork lives here. My education lives here. My social life with my agents, which is so important. Getting to know each other, even though we're so far apart, it all lives right here. And it's so, like we've mentioned before, it's so familiar. And easy to use that even my older agents who hadn't had a smartphone prior to joining me are able to figure out how to use this. And that's really important to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a highly collaborative platform that you really feel like you get to know a person, even though we're all working virtually. It just gives us a great single repository for communication. It is everything. It's our company, it's our culture, it's our community.
Mm-hmm. I love that. It comes back to the work isn't something you do, it's someplace you go. And you ladies have really brought that to life for us today. Thank you for sharing such an incredible story. We here at Enablo can, share our messages, tell the story, but it's you ladies and it's you clients who really bring it to life with, integrity with collaboration, and tell a story that, as I said, many of your peers across the industry, or regardless of industry sectors, can really just relate to and take on board. So genuinely, thank you for taking the time to be with us today and to share your stories. We here at Enablo, as I mentioned, are the Workplace by Meta. We're the largest partner globally. We thrive on empowering people to do their best work together. If you are contemplating or curious with regards to what a workplace rollout would look like for your organization, please don't hesitate to get in touch. We would love to chat and share our experiences with you. You can get in touch directly by emailing hello@enableo.com, and we would love to hear from you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.